There are seasons in life when nothing seems to move. The prayers continue, the hope remains, yet the desired change appears distant. During such times, it is easy to assume that nothing significant is happening. The human heart naturally longs for visible progress, immediate answers, and clear signs that the future is unfolding according to plan. Yet some of the most important work God performs takes place in hidden places, beyond the reach of human observation. Waiting is often misunderstood because it appears passive on the surface. In reality, it can be one of the most active seasons of spiritual growth. While circumstances may seem unchanged, character is being shaped, wisdom is being developed, and foundations are being strengthened. Just as a builder spends considerable time preparing the foundation before constructing a great structure, God often prepares individuals long before introducing the relationships and opportunities that will define the next chapter of their lives. Many people focus entirely on what they do not have. They look at the relationship that has not arrived, the opportunity that has not appeared, or the breakthrough that has not yet occurred. In doing so, they sometimes overlook what God is accomplishing within them. The waiting season is not merely about delaying a blessing. It is often about preparing a person to receive and sustain that blessing when it finally arrives. Consider how growth occurs in nature. Seeds are placed beneath the soil, where they remain unseen for a period of time. To an observer, nothing appears to be happening. Yet beneath the surface, roots are forming, strength is developing, and life is preparing to emerge. The hidden process is just as important as the visible result. Without strong roots, future growth would be impossible. In much the same way, God often develops inner strength before allowing outward change. Relationships require qualities that are not usually formed in moments of ease. Patience is developed through waiting. Wisdom is developed through experience. Compassion is often developed through hardship. Maturity grows through challenges that test faith and perseverance. These qualities become essential when meaningful relationships enter a person's life. A connection may begin with excitement, but it is sustained through character. There is also a tendency to assume that delay means denial, yet many times, delay serves an entirely different purpose. It creates space for growth, healing, and preparation. What feels like a closed door may actually be divine protection. What appears to be an unanswered prayer may simply be a prayer whose answer is still being prepared. Some individuals enter relationships carrying unresolved wounds from previous experiences. Pain from the past can influence expectations about the future. Disappointments can create fear. Betrayal can create distrust. Heartbreak can create hesitation. Without healing, these wounds often follow people into new connections, affecting the way they communicate, trust, and respond to others. The waiting season provides an opportunity for restoration. It creates room for reflection, healing, and renewal. During this time, God can address areas of the heart that might otherwise remain hidden. Old fears can be confronted. False beliefs can be replaced with truth. Confidence can be rebuilt. Hope can be restored. This preparation becomes a gift that strengthens future relationships. Another important fact of waiting is learning the difference between loneliness and readiness. Loneliness often creates urgency. It encourages people to seek immediate solutions to emotional needs. Readiness, however, is different. Readiness involves stability, wisdom, and confidence. It allows a person to approach relationships from a place of strength rather than desperation. When individuals are driven primarily by loneliness, they may ignore warning signs, compromise important values, or settle for connections that do not align with their purpose. Preparation creates clarity. It helps people recognize the difference between temporary attraction and genuine compatibility. It enables them to make decisions based on wisdom rather than emotion alone. Faith plays a significant role during this process. Faith is not merely believing that good things will happen. It is trusting that God is working, even when evidence is limited. It is maintaining confidence during uncertain seasons. It is choosing hope when circumstances provide few visible reasons for optimism. This kind of faith strengthens the heart and creates resilience. The remarkable truth is that preparation often becomes visible only in hindsight. Years later, people frequently look back and recognize how every challenge contributed to their growth. The difficult season taught patience. The lonely season taught self-worth. The uncertain season taught trust. What once seemed meaningless becomes understandable when viewed from a broader perspective. God's timing is often different from human timing because his priorities are different. Human beings frequently focus on immediate comfort and satisfaction. God focuses on long-term purpose and lasting growth. He sees not only where a person is today, but also where they need to be tomorrow. Because of this, preparation may take longer than expected, but it is never without purpose. Every season has value. Every experience has the potential to contribute to future blessings. Every challenge can teach lessons that become useful later. The waiting period is not an interruption of life. It is part of life itself. It is a chapter with its own purpose, lessons, and rewards. When the right relationship finally arrives, prepared individuals often discover that the waiting was not wasted. They enter the new chapter with greater wisdom, deeper faith, stronger character, and a clearer understanding of who they are. They appreciate the relationship more fully because they recognize the journey that brought them there. They understand that preparation was not an obstacle to the blessing. It was part of the blessing itself. The most life-changing moments rarely announce themselves with great fanfare. They do not always arrive wrapped in dramatic signs or unmistakable certainty. More often, they appear quietly, disguised as ordinary events that seem insignificant at first glance. A simple phone call, an unexpected message, a brief conversation, or a chance introduction can become the doorway to an entirely new chapter. This is one of the remarkable ways God works within human lives. He often places extraordinary purpose inside ordinary moments. People naturally expect important changes to look important. They imagine that major turning points will arrive with immediate clarity and undeniable evidence. Yet history, experience, and faith repeatedly reveal a different pattern. Great opportunities frequently begin in small ways. Significant relationships often start with simple conversations. Destinies can be altered through encounters that initially appear unremarkable. One reason many people miss divine opportunities is because they become overly focused on their expectations. They create detailed images of how blessings should arrive, who should deliver them, and when they should appear. When reality differs from those expectations, they fail to recognize what has been placed before them. God's methods often challenge human assumptions because his perspective extends beyond limited understanding. There are moments when a person enters your life unexpectedly and leaves an impression that cannot easily be explained. The connection may feel natural rather than forced. Conversations may flow with unusual ease. There may be a sense of comfort, peace, or familiarity that seems surprising considering how recently you met. Such moments should not be dismissed lightly. While wisdom and discernment are always necessary, it is important to remain open to the possibility that God is orchestrating something meaningful behind the scenes. Divine connections are not always romantic in their beginning. Sometimes they start as friendships. Sometimes they emerge through professional relationships, shared interests, or mutual acquaintances. What makes them significant is not how they begin, but how they gradually reveal purpose over time. Many of the most meaningful relationships develop slowly, allowing trust and understanding to grow naturally. Patience is essential because genuine connections are rarely built overnight. Modern culture often celebrates instant results, yet the strongest relationships are usually formed through consistent effort, shared experiences, and mutual respect. A connection that develops gradually often possesses greater depth and stability than one built entirely upon initial excitement. When God introduces people into one another's lives, there is often a purpose beyond personal happiness. Relationships have the power to encourage growth, inspire courage, and strengthen faith. The right person can challenge limitations, support dreams, and help reveal qualities that might otherwise remain undiscovered. They become part of the process through which God shapes character and fulfills purpose. It is important to understand that not every new connection is meant to last forever. Some relationships are seasonal, teaching lessons that prepare individuals for future chapters. Others remain for a lifetime. Discernment helps distinguish between temporary influences and enduring partnerships. This is why prayer, wisdom, and careful observation remain valuable throughout the process of building any relationship. Fear often becomes one of the greatest obstacles to recognizing divine opportunities. Previous disappointments can create hesitation. Past betrayals can encourage suspicion. Unanswered expectations can make people reluctant to trust again. While caution has value, excessive fear can prevent individuals from embracing the very opportunities they have been praying for. A heart that has experienced pain may instinctively protect itself from future risk. Yet meaningful relationships always involve some degree of vulnerability. Trust cannot develop where walls remain permanently closed. Openness does not require abandoning wisdom. Rather, it means refusing to allow fear to become the controlling force in decision-making. Many people spend years asking God for new opportunities, while simultaneously resisting them when they appear. They pray for meaningful relationships but avoid conversations. They desire connection but remain emotionally unavailable. They hope for change but cling tightly to familiar patterns. Divine opportunities often require a willingness to step beyond comfort zones. The ordinary nature of these moments is precisely what makes them so powerful. A simple interaction may carry significance far beyond what is immediately visible. The person you almost overlook may become one of the most influential individuals in your life. The conversation you nearly ignore may contain the beginning of a remarkable journey. The opportunity that seems small today may grow into something extraordinary tomorrow. There is beauty in recognizing that God does not require dramatic circumstances to accomplish meaningful purposes. He works through everyday life, ordinary people, and seemingly routine events. His guidance often appears subtle rather than overwhelming. Those who remain attentive, hopeful, and receptive are often better positioned to recognize his direction when it arrives. This understanding changes the way a person approaches daily life. Instead of viewing each day as repetitive and predictable, they begin to recognize the possibility that any moment could contain purpose. Every interaction becomes meaningful. Every encounter carries potential. Every new connection deserves thoughtful consideration. The future may not arrive exactly as expected, but it often arrives with greater wisdom than human plans could produce. What appears ordinary today may eventually be recognized As the moment everything began to change, the unexpected call, the brief introduction, the simple message, or the chance meeting may become the starting point of a relationship that transforms the course of a life. And that is why no ordinary moment should ever be underestimated, because God has a remarkable way of hiding extraordinary blessings within the simplest beginnings. One of the greatest challenges in receiving a new blessing is overcoming the influence of old disappointments. The human heart has a remarkable memory. It remembers promises that were broken, relationships that ended unexpectedly, opportunities that slipped away, and seasons when hope seemed to lead only to pain. While these memories can provide valuable lessons, they can also become barriers when they are allowed to shape expectations about the future. Many people unknowingly carry yesterday's wounds into today's opportunities. They approach new relationships through the lens of old experiences. Instead of seeing people as they are, they see them through the shadow of previous hurt. Instead of expecting good things to happen, they prepare themselves for disappointment. Over time, fear can become so familiar that it begins to feel like wisdom, even though the two are very different. Wisdom learns from the past without becoming imprisoned by it. Fear, however, expects the past to repeat itself endlessly. Wisdom says, "I have learned valuable lessons." Fear says, "The same pain will happen again." Wisdom remains open while exercising discernment. Fear remains closed even when opportunities deserve consideration. This distinction is important because many blessings arrive disguised as risks. Every meaningful relationship requires trust. Every new beginning contains uncertainty. Every opportunity involves stepping into territory that cannot be completely controlled or predicted. If a person waits until all risk disappears, they may spend their entire life standing still. Past disappointments often create invisible walls around the heart. These walls are usually built with good intentions. Their purpose is protection. They are constructed after betrayal, heartbreak, rejection, or loss. At first, they seem useful because they reduce vulnerability. Yet over time, the same walls that keep pain out can also keep blessings out. A guarded heart may avoid future disappointment, but it may also miss future joy. It may protect itself from rejection while simultaneously preventing genuine connection. It may avoid risk while also avoiding growth. Eventually, what was built as a shield becomes a prison. God never intended people to live permanently under the influence of their worst experiences. Difficult seasons have value because they teach lessons, reveal strength, and develop character. However, they were never meant to define a person's entire future. A painful chapter may be part of the story, but it is not the whole story. There is a profound difference between remembering pain and living under its authority. Remembering pain can produce wisdom. Living under its authority produces limitation. The first allows growth. The second prevents it. The challenge is learning how to carry lessons forward without carrying fear forward as well. Many individuals assume that because something ended badly before, it will end badly again. Because one person was dishonest, they become suspicious of everyone. Because one relationship failed, they become doubtful about future relationships. Because one opportunity led to disappointment, they stop expecting positive outcomes altogether. These assumptions may feel safe, but they are rarely accurate. Every person is different. Every relationship is unique. Every season brings new possibilities. The future should not be judged solely by the experiences of the past. While previous experiences provide guidance, they do not possess the authority to determine what happens next. Faith becomes especially important at this point. Faith is not the denial of previous pain. It is the refusal to allow previous pain to become the final authority. It acknowledges past difficulties while continuing to believe that new possibilities exist. It recognizes what happened without surrendering hope for what can still happen. Healing often begins when individuals stop viewing themselves through the lens of their disappointments. Too many people define themselves by what they lost, who left, or what failed. Their identity becomes connected to painful experiences rather than to the growth that emerged from them. Yet every challenge survived is evidence of strength. Every hardship overcome demonstrates resilience. Every difficult season endured reveals a capacity for perseverance. A new relationship cannot fully flourish in an environment dominated by old fears. Trust requires space to grow. Hope requires room to breathe. Openness requires a willingness to believe that tomorrow can be different from yesterday. This does not mean ignoring warning signs or abandoning wisdom. It means refusing to let fear make every decision. Sometimes God brings new people into a person's life specifically to demonstrate that the future is not destined to repeat the past. These relationships become reminders that not everyone will disappoint, betray, or abandon. They reveal that healthy connections exist and that genuine trust is possible. Through such relationships, old assumptions begin to lose their power. The process of releasing past disappointment is rarely instant. It often occurs gradually, one step at a time. Small acts of trust lead to greater confidence. Positive experiences challenge negative expectations. Healing grows stronger as fear loses its influence. Over time, what once seemed impossible begins to feel natural. The remarkable truth is that many of life's greatest blessings appear shortly after people decide to stop allowing old pain to control new possibilities. The moment they become willing to hope again, believe again, and trust again, doors begin to open that once seemed permanently closed. This is not because the past suddenly disappears, but because it no longer possesses the power to dictate the future. The disappointments you have experienced may explain certain fears, but they do not define your destiny. The heartbreaks you endured may have shaped you, but they do not own you. The failures you remember may have taught important lessons, but they do not determine what lies ahead. God's plans are not limited by previous setbacks. His ability to create new beginnings is greater than any ending you have ever faced. The future remains unwritten, filled with possibilities that cannot be measured by yesterday's experiences. When the heart chooses faith over fear, hope over cynicism, and openness over isolation, it becomes ready to receive the new relationships, opportunities, and blessings that God may already be preparing. The best chapters are often written after the pages that seemed most difficult to read.